I am interested in maths, and I don't think many people are. I think all the people here are. So yeah, guys, welcome to the math gang. So yeah, I'll be presenting on percentages today, and it won't be a normal percentage presentation. I'll be sharing a few tricks because that's how I learn. I can't keep a lot of formulas in my mind. I'm not that kind of a person. So I'll be sharing a few tricks which can make math a bit easier for you. So let me share my screen. One second, guys. Yeah, I think my screen is visible, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's visible.
Thank you. So yeah, let's start. So percentage, I call it the heart of mathematics because I think it covers a wide range of applications as I'll be dealing with in this presentation. So this is a basic definition of percentage. I'll just read through it. A percentage is a way to express a number as a fraction of 100. It tells you how much one number is compared to another using 100 as the reference point. For example, 50% means 50 out of 100. So this is just a basic definition. I think most of you will know this definition. So this is a table I want everybody to keep in your minds. So you can take a screenshot of this table. This will help you a lot, not just here. It will help you in a lot of interviews and in a lot of competitive exams because most of the percentage questions which seem very difficult can be easily solved using this table. So you can go ahead and take a screenshot. I'll wait for like 30 seconds in the slide. Yeah. So I think you took a screenshot. Now let's move on to the next slide.
Sorry, Kirtana, sorry to interrupt, but your slide is not changed. And
Okay.
can you please switch on to the presentation mode?
Yeah, give me
Because
a
it's,
minute.
yeah.
Okay, let me just present it like that. Is this okay? I'll just go down this way.
Actually, your whole screen is not visible. Yeah, now I think it's
It's
visible.
okay?
No, you can actually start the slide so that you can see in the top left. Actually, there's a start slide. So
Yeah, yeah. If I do this, it's not moving. That's what they're saying. Like, is it moving now?
you can just do it from current slide itself. Let's see what happens.
Now is it moving? I'm
Uh,
actually moving the slides.
no, it doesn't actually happen. Anything.
Okay, let me show it like this. Now is it visible? Like, let me move to another slide. Now?
Well, at least
Yeah,
the slide
it's
is visible, but it's not in the presentation mode yet. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So, guys, I was actually talking about this slide. Basically, this table is very important as it can help you in a lot of situations where you can't do actual calculations for that sum. So, you can go ahead and take a screenshot because this will help you a lot. Okay. So, now let's go on to a few applications of percentage. So, these are the applications I'll be dealing with today. There are a lot of other applications, obviously. So, they are ratios, proportions, loss, profit, cost price, selling price, and discount. So I think all of these sums are a few sums in maths which always are a trouble causing to us. So let's try to make it a bit simple today. So ratios. So I am not explaining what is ratio here, but I think most of you know it is something by something or something upon something. So I have just got a few basic, very basic questions of ratios here, which I think most of you will be able to solve. So let's see the first question. In a basket, there are apples and oranges in the ratio 4 is to 3. If there are 56 fruits in total, how many apples and how many oranges are there? So it's a very basic kind of question where you take 4 is to 3. You take it as 4x and 3x, and then the total would be 7x, which is 56. I think this is a very basic question. I just wanted to put this here to show that these are the various kind of questions which you'll have in the ratios. Okay, but then if you look at percentage based questions in ratio, the sum 3 is a question I want to solve here. In a school, 60% of students are boys. If there are total 300 students in total, how many boys and how many girls are there? Okay. So give me a second. I'll press on my OneNote to solve this question.
Excuse me,
Yes.
is this class recorded? Will be available for after? Yes, yes, Aditya. It's now recording. It's on.
Where is this recording available, sir?
Yeah, actually, we are actually trying to create a YouTube channel, but we'll try. I actually should to send in that mail whatever you got the previous video. Maybe today also I forgot. Okay. Uh, we'll send via mail, and very soon we'll have a YouTube channel. So from some this authority permission is needed. Very soon we'll get a YouTube channel, and all will be uploaded on YouTube. Sorry for
Okay. Then we'll receive in in this mail itself, right?
yeah. I will try to include this link of a video in the mail in these days at least.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Go
I'll
ahead, Edmund.
Yeah, I think we'll continue. So I'll read the question one more time. In a school, 60% of the students are boys. If there are 300 students in total, how many boys and how many girls are there? So this is also a pretty simple question. So 60% are boys and the total is 300. So what we actually normally do here is we do 60 by 100 into 300 and you get the boys. So that is using formula. But then how I usually do these type of questions is that I take the total number given, which is 300, and consider this to be 100%. Okay. So because the total entity is nothing but the 100%, right? So I take this to be the 100%, and from this I come to 60%. So how can you come to 60% from this? I do into 5 and then I do into 3. So this is how my mind processes it. I find this easier. Okay. So if you do this by 5, you get 60, which would be 20%, and then you do into 3, which is 180. So the number of boys are 180, right? So the number of girls would be 300 minus 180, which is 120. So this is how I usually go into percentage problems. I consider the whole entity as 100% and then I deal with it. I try to do some divisions and multiplications to bring it to the required percentage. Okay. Now let's try solving more questions. I'll share my PPT again. I'll better share my entire screen. I think that's better. Okay. So yeah. Uh, so these are other questions. I don't want to go to them. I just wanted to put them here. So now if you want to look at proportion, it is the same thing. So in proportions, it is, I would say it is an updated version of ratio where you don't compare just between two quantities but more than two quantities, and you understand relationships in proportion. So we look at the first question because it involves a percentage here. If 20% of a number is 60, what is the number? Okay, it's a pretty straightforward question. Um, Sorry. So let's clear this off. So 20% of a number is 60, right? So they're asking what is the number. The number is nothing but 100%, right? Because the number is the entire entity. So here it becomes pretty simple because they have given you 20%. So if you do just into 5, you get the number because 20% into 5 is nothing but 100%. So this is how this trick can easily help you, because if you don't apply these tricks, then you'll have to go through some formulas to solve this here. So you get the answer as 300 here. So if you actually use formulas here, you will actually do this. 20 by 100 into x is equal to 60. What is x? So instead of doing that, always assume the complete number, even if it's not given. So you assume x to be 100% here. And then you just multiply by 5 to get this 300 answer. I hope it's clear to every one of you. So let's move on to our next question. Before that, I've got like two tough questions in ratio and proportion. Just wait for 1 second. I'll get them. Just a second, guys. Okay, let's discuss those questions at the last. Now we'll go to the rest of the questions. Okay. So now this was about ratio and proportion. I think you guys got an idea, but then still we'll be doing two more tough questions to make it more easier to you. Now let's get into something which is really important with percentage. I think this is the main application of percentage, which is cost price and selling price. Okay. So basically, cost price is at the price at which a buyer gets a seller gets a product from the wholesaler, and then the selling price is the price at which he sells it to the customer. So this is our basic knowledge. So now let's go through a question. I started with a simple question so that I can explain you the procedure in which we'll be dealing these type of questions. Okay. So a shopkeeper brought a TV for 10,000 rupees. He sells it at a profit of 20%. What is the selling price of the TV? So this is a very very simple question. It is a very basic question. So the cost price of the TV is 10,000. So yeah, cost price is, let's keep it as 10. I am not including the thousands. Okay, I'm keeping it as 10k, and then the profit percentage is 20. Okay, now we should find the SP. This is the question here. So how do we normally go through these kind of questions is through basic formulas. We have a lot of formulas to solve these questions. So you basically calculate the profit and then you add it to the CP, then you get the SP. This is the formula kind of thing. But what I always suggest on CP and SP kind of questions is you always consider the CP as 100%. Why do we do this? Because CP never changes. We never manipulate CP. We always manipulate SP, because even if there is a discount or if there is a profit or if there is a loss, it is always about the SP. It doesn't change the CP. So you can always keep your CP as 100%. Okay. Now, what is the profit? It is 20. So that is nothing but CP by 5. CP by 5 is the profit. So this by 5 would be 2000, right? 2K. So 2K is your profit. So now the selling price will be nothing but 10K plus 2K. Because as you know, profit is SP minus CP, right? So you just add these two to get the SP, which is 12K. So I think this is a very efficient method. You might not see the efficiency in simple questions like this. The next one we'll be doing is a bit tricky. So it will be way easier by using this. So always remember, the mantra is to keep the CP as 100% always, because it's never going to change. You'll only be manipulating the SP. Okay. So as I told you guys, mantra always consider CP as 100%. Okay. Now let's get a bit deep. So this was the question I was talking about. This is not like very tricky, but then it's a bit trickier. So let me clear the board first, and then we can write down the details. Yeah. So let's go to the PPT. A trader bought 120 items at rupees 80 each. He sells 60 items at a 10% profit and remaining 60 at 20% loss. What is the trader's overall profit or loss? So these kind of questions are very common. They give these kinds of questions to just confuse you, because there are a lot of numbers, there's a lot of profit loss involved. So it might confuse you, but actually it's a very simple question. So the question says you have 120 items and the cost of each item is 80. So he sells the first 60 items, right? So let's split this 180 into 60 and 60. Okay. So the first 60 is sold at a profit of 10%, right? The next is sold at a loss of 20%. Okay. So now let's do it the way we do. So basically your CP would be not 60 but 60 into 80. So each CP would be, here the CP would be 4,800, right? And there also, in the second case also, it's the same CP, 4,800. We don't have to repeat it here, but it's the same. Yeah. So same. So now, as I said, you consider CP as 100%. Okay. So the profit of CP, that is, the profit can be calculated by just dividing CP by 10, right? Because this is 100%, profit is 10%. So you just divide it by 10, you get 480. So the profit is 480. The profit you're gaining is 480. And here, if you divide the CP by 5, you will get the profit. Sorry, the loss. Sorry, my mistake. So if you divide this by 20, this by 5. Why are you dividing this by 5? because CP is considered as 100% and the loss is 20%. So to get 20% from 100%, we divide by 5. So when you divide by 5, you get 960, which is the loss. So now you have got the net, you have got the loss and the profit. Now we can calculate the net thing, which is profit is 480 and the loss is 960. So you can see you're having a net loss of 480 rupees, right? So net loss of 480 rupees. Now it has become very simple. You don't have to do any such calculations where you have to call, where you have to find SP of both the cases and then you find the profit, then you find the loss and then you subtract. It's a very big process, but here we did very simply using our tricks. So the final thing is there has been a loss of rupees 480. Yeah, I think that was pretty simple. uh, yeah. Okay, now I have a few more questions. Before that, we'll go into this. Okay, after that I'll get back to more CPSP ratio proportion questions. So more into percentage. For this, I need everybody to try solving just the first question. So maybe we can take 2 minutes and let's see if any one of you can solve this question. So yeah, we'll wait for 2 minutes and just see if you're able to solve. And if anybody is able to solve, please you can unmute and give the answer. We'll take 2 minutes time. We'll wait till 7:22 maybe, and then you guys can give your answers. You can try to solve any one of these questions. No worries. If anybody has solved, you can raise your hand so that the host can call you out to give the answer.
Yes, Sarthak Gupta.
Okay, 1 second. I'll come to the meet.
Sarthak Gupta said the answer is 21.99.
No, it's actually not in decimals. So I think you made a calculation mistake somewhere. So yeah, I
Vishnu
think
Prakash
yeah.
says the answer is 22.
For the
Approx.
which question? First question.
Jay, please type it in the chat box or yeah, first question.
Okay, yeah, that's right. It's 22. So I think Sarthak said 21.99. Okay, near. So yeah, guys, great. So how do we do this? Actually, if you look at these questions, they look pretty complicated. Okay, let me write them down. Just a second. So well done to both Sarthak and who was the other person?
Actually, many of them solved, and many
Great,
of them
great,
said the answer to be 22.
great, all of you. So give me a second. So yeah, so if you actually try to solve it the normal way, that is, if you do this, if you do 9.09 into whatever the question is, 9.09 into of 18.18 of 1331, right? So if you try to solve this normally, it looks like a pretty tough question because it involves a lot of decimal points. Yeah, so one trick, as I suggested at the start, this table is your key. So you can find a lot of useful values here. So from this table, I think you can identify this 9.09. So this is nothing but 1 by 11, right? So this is 1 by 11, right? And then if you look at this, you can see that this is nothing but the twice of this. So this is 2 by 11, right? And I think you can identify this. This is nothing but 11 cube. So yeah, so you can cancel these out and you get 2 into 11, which is 22. Well done to everybody who solved. And also let me know, did you use the table or did you calculate? You can let me know in the chat. I'll look at it afterwards. So yeah, great job. So having this table is of great help. So now let's try to solve the second question. Yeah, you guys can have a try and you can use the table. Yeah, it's based on the table. So let me know the answers. You can use the table. I think you have a screenshot of the table. If not, I'll show it for a second. You can take a screenshot. Yeah, now I'll go back to the question. You can try to solve the second one and the third one because the first one and the second one are a bit direct, but then the third one is a bit tricky. So you guys can try to solve them. Solve the second one and put the answer in the chat. I'll let you know if it's right.
The second one's answer is 4. Someone says approximately.
Yeah, it is 4. Right, very good. It's not actually approximately, I think. If you use the table, you'll get the right answer, I guess. Yeah, because as you see, it's 8.33 is 1 by 12. So 16.66 will be 2 by 12. So you do 1 by 12 into 2 by. Maybe I'll solve it. Give me a second.
A lot of them solve the second one as well.
That's great. That's great. So did you guys make use of the table or was it by actual calculation? You can mention that also. Because I think this table is really helpful, at least for me, because I'm not very good at these multiplications, addition. I make a lot of mistakes. So yeah. Sorry. 1 second. Let me go to the question. Yeah. So it's 8.33 of 16.66. Pretty simple question. 66 of 288, right? So 8.33 is nothing but it's 1 by 12, and 16.66 is nothing but 2 by 12, right? And your 288 is 144 into 2. So this is something you will have to identify. So basically, one thing you can do is, if you can identify what this number is, so 288, if you can see this and right way you can identify 144 into 2, then you'll know that the bases should be 12, and then you can go to the table and look at these fractions. You can do that. But if you're not good at that, then you can look at the table, find these, and then you can split this. Anything is fine. So now sorry, into, it's not equal to, so this gets cancelled and 2 into 2 will be 4. It's pretty simple, right? So yeah, you don't have to go through any tough calculations if you have that table in hand. So yeah, so now let's try to do the third one. I think the third one is a little bit tricky. It's not like in the table you don't have the values right away, so it might be a bit tricky. It's not very tough, obviously. So you guys can try and let me know. Any answers in the chat?
Yeah, people have actually answered 210.
Yeah, very good, guys. That's great. So yeah. So for people who didn't get it, no worries. I'll do it once. No issues.
Yeah, many of them answered it to be 210.
Yeah, that's right. Very good. That's amazing. So give me a second. So yeah. So if you go to the table, first let me write down the question because it's a bit big, I'll forget it. So it's 37.5 of 62.5. So in these type of questions, it just matters if you identify one percentage, then you'll be able to identify the rest. But what is difficult is to identify that 1%. So if you're able to do that, then the rest becomes easier. So uh, of 1024, right? So yeah. So if you look at the table, you won't have any straightaway answers which corresponds to 37.5 or anything, but then you have this one thing which is 12.5. So actually in the question I gave, which is here, if you look at this 87.5 and 12.5, they actually add up to 100%. So basically they're complements. So now if you look at the table, if 12.5 is 1 by 8, then this 87.5 will be 7 by 8, right? And then 12.5 into 3 would give you 37.5, which is 3 by 8. And if you look at it now, these both are complements. That is, if you add these two, you get 100%. So it's basically 5 by 8, right? So if you do this and if you solve it, you'll get 110. Yeah. If you cancel and yeah, you'll get the answer as 210. Sorry, not 110. My wrong. Yeah, so great, guys. That's amazing. So I think you guys can now understand how important this table is. So you can have this handy with you. It will help you in many situations. So now I'll discuss more tough CPSP questions where you have this discount and stuff. Just give me 1 second. I'll take the question. Let me just stop presenting my screen for like a minute. I'll take the question. We'll do this one question and then I have another one question which I want to have ask you guys. I'll ask that. Give me a moment. Okay, yeah. I'll share my screen again. Sorry for the delay, guys. So yeah, I've just put my question here. A shopkeeper buys a laptop for 40,000. He marks up the price by 50% and then offers a discount of 20% on the mark price. Find the selling price of the laptop after the discount. Calculate the profit or loss percentage on the cost price. If you had given only a discount of 10%, then okay. There are a lot of subdivisions. We'll go one by one. Okay. First, we'll write down the details we have. So the CP is 40%, right? Sorry, 40,000, right? The CP. Okay, I am not dealing with the thousands. I'm just writing it as 40. Okay, but then everything is in thousands. Just remember that. CP is 40, and then he has marked up the price. Marked up meaning he has increased the price by 50,000. So the initial SP before the discount would be 150%. So because you consider CP as 100, SP would be 100 plus 50, which is 150. I think you get that. So now to find 150%, what do? You divide this by 2, which is 20. You get 50% here. And then you add it to 100%. That is 40 plus 20, which is 60. So the initial SP would be 60K, right? That is 60,000. Now he gives a discount of 20%. So now he has given a discount of 20%. So now let's calculate 20% from the SP, which is because he's giving a discount from the SP, right? Always remember this one thing. You calculate everything else from the CP, but only the discount should be calculated from the SP or the mark price because the discount is given on the SP. So you calculate 20% on the SP. So basically what you do is now you consider this to be 100% and then you do divided by 5 to get 20%. So you get 12. So you subtract 12 from 60, right? Which is 48K. So the selling price after calculating your discount is 48,000. So that is the answer for your first question. Find the selling price of the laptop is 48,000. Now calculate the profit or loss percentage. So that's pretty simple. Give me a second. I'll erase some part. Let me erase this part. Okay. So we know the selling price is nothing but 48,000 and the cost price is 40,000. So if subtract, you get 8,000, which will be a profit. So 8,000 is nothing but 20%, right? How do you calculate that? 8,000 is, 8, okay? 8 is nothing but 40 divided by 5. That is 100% divided by 5, which is 20. So your current profit percentage is 20 percentage, right? That's pretty simple. So now let's go to the next part of the question, which might look a bit confusing. If he had given only a 10% discount instead, what would be his new profit percentage? Okay. So what they are saying is here actually he had given a discount of 20%, right? Now they're asking what would be the profit or loss percent if he had given only a 10% discount. So let's solve for that. So let's rub this stuff. Yeah. So we had calculated SP to be 60, right? In that, now he's giving a discount of 10%, which is this is 100. This is considered to be 100 when you do discounts, and you do divide it by 10, right? To get a 10% discount, right? Sorry, not yeah, 10. Sorry. So you get 6, right? So now, what would be the selling price? It would be 60 minus 6, which is 54. So now the selling price would be 54,000. Okay. So what would be the profit now? It would be 14,000, right? Which is 40 minus 54 minus 40. So it would be 14K, right? So now you should calculate the percentage of 14. That is simple. You do 14 by 40 into 100 and you'll get it to be 35 percentage. Sorry, I'll write it here. 35 percentage. Okay. So yeah, I think considering this as 100% and doing makes the calculation a lot easier. But then check which works for you and then you can follow that. So yeah, now I'll ask you guys one question. This is like the last question from my session. You can think about this and give me an answer. So everybody knows the formula for percentage. What we do is we do the part by whole into 100. Why do we do into 100? I want the answer for this. You can unmute and answer if anybody has an answer. Or you can let me know in the chat also, no worries. So did you understand my question? Basically, if you want, I can write it down. So what I'm asking is, the formula of percentage is nothing but a part, right, by a whole into 100. So why do we do into 100? What's the logic behind it? You guys can unmute or you can put in the chat. No worries. Any responses in the chat?
For the ease of calculation, someone says. No, actually, Shivaram says that percentage means 100. And KP Narayanan says that it's because for ease of calculation.
to
Okay.
get fraction of the whole part.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you for all the responses. And yeah, all of you were really near. So I'll tell you my explanation, okay? So the thing is, I think all of you would have learned this method called unitary method or unary method. It can have different names. Do you remember this unary method, which you have learned in very lower classes? Does anybody remember? Unary method. You can unmute, no worries.
Yeah, so who wants to ask or anything can unmute and directly ask. That would be good, even writing in chat. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So what is this unitary or unary method? You can go on. You can unmute or okay, if you're not comfortable, you can put in the chat. No worries.
Using of vertical bars, one stance, like telemarks.
Okay, okay. So no, actually, unary method or unitary method is nothing but where price. I'll give you a question. Okay, if you would have questions like if 10 bananas cost 50 rupees, what is the cost of 2 bananas? So what you do is here you have 10 bananas which cost 50 rupees. So first you try to find the cost of 1 banana, which would be 5 rupees. You divide this by this and you get 5 rupees, and then you multiply it with the amount of bananas in it, which will be 2, right? So this is unary method where you try to find the cost of one thing and then you multiply it with the whole thing. Okay, so this is exactly what we do here. We take a part, you divide it with the whole to find the thing of one part, and then you multiply it with this reference point. This 100 is called reference point in percentage. So actually I showed you the definition, right? Give me a second. So yeah, so this 100 is used as a reference point, or you can say it's used for better calculation. So actually, it follows unary method where you calculate for one part and you multiply it with the whole. I think now you've gotten a better idea of why percentage is actually the way it is. Okay, so yeah, actually that's all about the session. But I have like one more question about like we saw. Like I have this kind of question, one more. If you want, I can copy paste, or else you can go on with your doubts. This kind of question. Would you like to solve one more of this kind, or should we go on with question answers?
Yeah, we can solve.
You can solve. Okay, I'll paste it. Give me a second. Yeah. So I'll type the question here. 15.4% of. Yeah, you guys can try to solve this and let me know the answer.
12.
Yeah, amazing. So it's 12. Give me a second. I'll go to the table. So yeah, if you see the question was 15.4 of 23.1 of 338, right? If you look at this table, you don't have any of these numbers, but then you have 7.7. So this is near 7.7. It's not exactly 7.7, but we can take it to be 7.7. So when you do 7.7 into 2, you get 15.4. So 15.4 becomes 2 by 3. Sorry, 2 by 13. I'll write it here. So it becomes 2 by 13. And then the next number is 23.1, which becomes 3 by 13. So if you understand, if you crack one fraction, if you crack one percentage, then you'll be able to crack the others pretty simple. Okay, the number here was 338. If you observe the number 338, it's nothing but 13 square into 2. So yeah, this 13 square is also a very important identification. If you can identify this prior, then guessing this would be pretty simple. So you can cancel off these 13s and you have 2 into 3 into 2, which is 12, as somebody rightly said. Great job. So yeah, that's all with the session. Thank you for being highly patient and a great listener. Now you can go on with your questions.
So for questions, you can raise your hand or you can unmute yourself or you can type in the chat box itself.
Thank you for the amazing session. I just want to know that this type of question would be beneficial for competition exams like government exams, no?
I'm not sure about it will be if it will be useful in government exam, but then yeah, normally in competitive exams it will be highly useful because competitive exams is all about tricks. They never want you to answer the normal way, and then also it help you crack a lot of interviews because
Yeah.
from my professors, what I learned was the few questions which I showed you were questions which are used to sort people out in interviews. So it will help you a lot in interviews.
Oh, thanks. Thanks a lot.
Also, these gonna help you in clearing your aptitude round of any companies into of any company. You know, because for every company you try, the first thing you should crack is their aptitude test, and in the aptitude test they ask a lot of percentage and these types of questions. So these tricks will really help you.
Oh, I'm really thankful for this session.
Thanks a
Yeah,
lot.
Thanks.
thanks, Anushka or Kirtana.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is a request to all of you. Try to fill this that G form, which is already in chat. I have given you, Anushka have pasted there, and it is already pinned also. So to know, if you want to suggest something or you want to, suggestions or feedback how the sessions. So whatever the improvement you will suggest also, that would be, for us to be improve this Spyware seminar thing. So please fill out the G form to know
Hello,
about.
excuse me,
Yeah.
please.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
this session is recorded. Like, are we given PPTs or is this?
Yes. Yeah. Actually. So. Yeah. Yeah. Actually, it is all recorded already, and PPT is okay. So we'll try to provide PPTs in the next Gmail announce. Okay.
Because
So
it for revision it will be much easier. Like I'm in
yes.
my office. I was traveling, so I haven't attended the whole session. From
Yes. Yes.
7:15 or 20, I have joined. That's why.
Yes.
And
Yes.
also the trigonometry session recordings also, sir.
Yeah. 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 We'll try to provide. I just forgot that now. Now and in the next email, it will be provided.
Okay, thank you so much, Shubham. Thank you so much,
Okay.
Thank
Anushka, and thank you so much, Kirtana.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you. And any other questions?
Will the recording of this session be provided on our mails or will you share it right now at the chat?
No, right now it will be very difficult. I have to end the session then. This time we are not on YouTube. It is not live on YouTube. Very soon it will be on YouTube. We'll try to provide it soon.
Okay. I couldn't join the session on time. I was studying. I completely forgot about the schedule.
Yes, yes, we'll actually miss that. We'll try to, not try, I will surely am giving that it will be provided now.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
I think we don't have any more questions for Kirtana.
Well, there's one, Anushka. Let's see. I mean, it's not exactly a question as such, but something which she has a lot of tricks up her sleeves actually. So one for such kind of things as well. For example, if we increment something by a certain percent and then decrement again by the same percent, then will it leave us back to square one, back to the same numbers that we started with from?
No, I don't think it will because the first time you're doing with a different number, like 20% of 10 is different from 20% of the next number. Like you get a bigger number, and that percentage will also vary.
Kind of, yeah. So it would have been useful if you could have given some
Yeah,
tricks
I didn't think
regarding this
about
part
it.
over there.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe if we get a part two, I'll do those tricks then.
Yeah, I think so. Sure enough.
Is there any other question?
Okay,
Okay,
fine.
so I don't think there's anything else. So if anyone wants to give some feedback to Kirtana in the meeting itself, then you can unmute yourself and give your feedbacks to improve the presentation or anything you want to give as feedback. Okay, so we'll receive the feedbacks.
Ma'am, it will be helpful for us if he speaks little bit slower. I think
Yeah,
he's
yeah. Okay, okay. Sorry. If you could have said it in the chat in between, I would have surely reduced my speed. I'm really sorry for that.
thank you.
Thank you, Kausalya, for the feedback. And anyone else? So I think we'll receive the rest of the feedbacks over the G form only. So thank you everyone for attending today's session. And the next session is going to be really very interesting. The next session is going to be this Sunday. That means day after tomorrow on 2nd February, and we will discuss something really interesting about fractals, and that too from one of the PhD scholars of IIT Madras. So we all are very excited and looking forward to attend the next session. So please, everyone, just join the next session, and we'll have a lot of fun discussions about fractals. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. Hello, yeah, ma'am. Is there any calendar link where we can directly get notification for the upcoming event?
Yeah, actually, till this time we are not doing. I have to think about it how it will be notified in the calendar.
Okay.
We'll see. It will try to be notified, or we'll send a reminder. We'll try to. It's not. It is a kind of evolving time, so we'll try to.
Okay. Thanks.